All right. Well, I guess we got away with that. Here's our final question this week, Jim, sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Jake Hammer. In his book Body Slams, longtime ring announcer Gary Michael Capetta talked about the McMahons, both Vince Sr. and Jr. He said that Vince Sr. was a classy man. However, one time Gary asked for a raise, and Vince Sr. said, quote, "I can't afford it," before eventually giving him a bump in pay. Vince Jr. was pretty much buried. Gary said Vince would never acknowledge his presence and was very cold to him. So cold, in fact, that he called him away from the ring one night at the Spectrum in the middle of the card to fire him from future Philadelphia bookings. According to Gary, Vince Jr. took great pleasure in this. Have you ever seen Vince treat fellow wrestlers or employees this way? Or do you think it was a personality conflict between Mr. McMahon and the world's most dangerous ring announcer? Is Vince McMahon a guy who can be completely unapproachable?
Well, there's all kinds of questions all over the place there. Have I ever seen him treat anybody else that way? Yes. I've seen him fire a lot of people and say, I don't like that person. And, and et cetera. He hated Louis Spicolli. Just couldn't stand that drug-addled, because me and Bruce and JR and Vince in Anaheim one day on the way to a taping or a pay-per-view or something, past Candido, Tammy, and Spicolli had already left the company, but we were in California, so he's riding with them to the show to visit. And that's the first I've seen Vince pop over that drug-infested son of a bitch. Spicolli just got under his fucking craw or whatever. I like Gary Capetta. I thought he was an excellent announcer, and he was always respectful around the locker room and got along well with the boys and was a grown adult and never any issues. There were some ring announcers, especially in the WCW TBS days, that might have tried to go out and fucking hoot and holler and cut up like the boys did, but Gary was not one of those. And this
Jones?
Was even... Well, no, he was a DJ in town. There's a guy named Tony Gilliam.
Tony Gilliam? That's my next guess.
He liked to go chase around where the boys were and see if he could pick up any of the leftovers. And he was a nice guy, too. But no, Gary's never been a problem or had an issue, and I would have to think that maybe just Vince, for whatever reason, just didn't like Gary Capetta. I don't know why it would be, but it sounds like it. So I have no other insight in that.
Who else did Vince not like, and any other stories of Vince just acting like a complete dick to someone?
Oh, God, I'm not prepared for that, and I'd have to think, and I don't want to unfairly name anyone just off the top of my head, but he didn't do that often. He'd kind of harumph every once in a while and, roll his eyes about people, but he didn't just actively just dislike a lot of people to the point where I don't want to talk about these people.
What about Luger after Luger left?
He wasn't a fan of Lex's after Lex left.
I'm sure there are other examples. That's the only one I
can't think of any right now.